Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Ramblings from Two Meddling Kids. I'm Edward Hunt, joined by my fellow kaiju,
Mike Cunningham.
and we are the Meddling Kids. And we like to review movies. Today we'll be reviewing Godzilla Kong, Rise of the New Empire. For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. For those of you who have come back, good to see you again. Don't worry, we won't spoil anything in, let's say, the first 5-10 minutes of our show. We'll give you a spoiler-free review from 0 to 5, then some background on this movie, followed by our play-by-play, which is going to have some spoilers. So don't fret. We're just going to give you our spoiler-free review first. Mike, are you ready?
I am.
All right, 0 to 5. What'd you give it?
2.
2. Okay.
2 out of 5.
All right.
I feel like that's being generous, but all right. One, like we said before, I think I'm a tad biased because of the fact that Godzilla -1 was my favorite movie last year. I love that interpretation of Kong. I love that story. I loved everything about it. So it's just like this movie had big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Especially coming out so shortly after that one. But this one, I think I did enjoy the fact that they did lean more into the story between the Kong or whatever, right? I did love how they leaned into Kong, who was a more interesting character, I guess, that they can kind of lean into. It's like how I watch more Batman movies than Superman movies, like animated wise, just because I feel like Batman's the more compelling character.
Definitely.
So in the same way, I think it was very smart of them in this movie, even though it's Godzilla and Kong, they're sharing, the title, but like they very much leaned into the more compelling character, or like something that you can really write a story around, and to kind of give it some background. So like I did appreciate that. I really love the fights when they happened a lot. Like I did appreciate that. Like I said, this movie kind of leaned away from the human characters. Like this cast of human characters is very small. Yes. And I think you do see that from the 5 that they have from this little Monsterverse that they've been doing. The cast has been getting smaller and smaller because I think they are listening to the audience. It was like, we don't give a damn what y'all doing on the ground. What's happening up there? So I did appreciate that. It was just like it was leaning into Kong's story and kind of him feeling lonely and like looking for family, looking for purpose or whatever. So it was like that was cool. The fight scenes were really cool because I feel like they leaned into the strengths of each character, right? So just like it wasn't just two apes fighting, one another. It was like very much Kong is, bigger, like stockier, and then his opponent might have been like skinnier or like more agile. And it was like they really leaned into that. Yeah, and I really appreciated of that. So it wasn't just two a little kid banging 2 action figures together. They really like leaned into the like the traits of different characters. And even like the performances of the Titans, like they were obviously Titans don't speak, but like the silent performances or like them emoting was even amazing. Like I like there's scenes where they're like I think there's like maybe 15 minutes where it's just Kong's journey in what was it Hollow Earth, or like so there's no talking at all, but it was like you knew exactly what was going on, and I love that. Like that was like something just so compelling. Like I said, I think my biggest gripe here was the fucking runtime. Jesus Christ. And then the human characters, I feel like they tried to give them some type of importance or something to do in the film, and it just seemed more like a plot convenience than actually being necessary. I feel like even all these characters, like they had a certain trait and that was it. And it was like, your conspiracy theorist, your hippie animal lover, your scientist who, I don't know why it is, like the fucking action movie parents always make the worst decisions. Yes, bring your child to a dangerous situation.
For sure, why not? Yeah.
It literally reminded me of the Meg immediately. I was just like, why?
Yeah.
Write me the benefits of bringing this child.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what it was giving me. Even like the little team that they had to go explore Hollow Earth, it was like, all right, you got one military guy, a scientist, a veterinarian, a conspiracy theorist, and a child. I hope you all make it back. I really do.
Like the most ragtag team I have ever seen
Yeah.
ever.
It's like I said, it was like I appreciated them like limiting the number of human characters in this, but it was that team itself did not make sense. Where are
No.
the other soldiers for fodder? What are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. You needed that. You needed at least 10 other soldiers for fodder. Is what they did.
Like, yeah, I love them exploring like Hollow Earth and stuff like that. Like I said, everything out past the human element of it, I really enjoyed. But that's all what I've been asking for in these, at least the American version of Godzilla and Kong for like years at this point. So like they did provide that, but it was just like it wasn't enough. Movie was too long. Human characters were more just plot conveniences than anything else. So yeah, like I said, I had a bit of fun, but it was like I was more sitting there mocking it than enjoying it for the most part. So I'm gonna give it a 2.
Fair. Okay, cool.
A
Yeah.
generous 2, Austin.
Say it again. What?
A generous 2.
Generous too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 2.5. Because the fact that the good things that you said, everything with Kong was pretty good, right? Like the Hollow Earth, the CGI, the kaiju fight scenes, all of that was good. And I appreciated that. And that's really, for me, what is saving this movie from being significantly lower. Because every character in this movie is a boiled down basic trope, and they are just really making them as simple as possible. It's basically they took a bunch of things that have worked well for other movies that were good, and we're like, I know what we need to do. The veterinarian is going to play 80s music like Guardians of the Galaxy, and we're going to have the smart scientist guy say smart scientist conspiracy theory things. We're going to have the classic, I'm a scientist. We're going to have oh man, and I'm just going to say it now because it's not really a spoiler, but like, when the main scientist lady is like, I have 2 PhDs, I'm very smart. But then she turns around and 30 seconds later says to the other guy, can you speak English? Like, try to be a little, dumb down your explanation. I'm like, I thought you just said you were super smart. What the hell just happened here? Yeah, dude, there was so much and I could rant about many more of the human things. I'm going to cut it there. The humans in this were so simplified and dumb and but the CGI was good. They a ton in this movie runtime, I would say at least 50% was literally big kaijus fighting it out. At least 50%, if not more. So that for me saves this movie from being lower. It was there's just so much of this movie that's not good. However, because of it's funny, I was talking with my friend that I saw it with yesterday, and I can see why people would like this. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, but I can definitely see a child, for instance, seeing this for the first time and absolutely loving this movie because they have never seen the tropes that have been seen before. Like, Trapper, the veterinarian, having his like cool guy 80s music thing. If this is the first time a child's ever seen that, they're going to love this movie, or it's going to feel like brand new to them.
Well, it's because of the fact that, like you said, 50% of it is the giant monsters. It's like my nephew loves Spider-Man, right? But one time we gave him the remote. He put on Venom because it was on Disney Plus or whatever. And I was like, young man, first of all, that is not for you. You are 3 years old. Relax. But he just saw the title, like the I guess the cover art, the thumbnail, and was like Venom. And then he put the movie on and fast forwarded it because he just wanted to see Venom, and he was so frustrated that he was like, what's all this backstory and all this bullshit?
Yeah.
Literally, he fast forwarded for 45 minutes. That's the first time Venom showed up in the Venom movie.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, you're right. I think as a kid or like somebody that just wants to see that, this movie did give somebody that wanted to see the kaiju battles. This movie has a lot more of it than it has had in previous films. So it was like, I did appreciate that. But like I said, to me, it could have and should have been a lot more.
Oh, 100%. And I think it boils down to this movie strikes me as just a big, dumb blockbuster popcorn flick. And there is a time and place for big, dumb popcorn blockbuster flicks.
And that is May to July. Sorry.
Like May to July, the summer, and that's it. Yeah. And so if you're looking for that in a movie, 100%, there's some good stuff. You're going to see some good kaiju on kaiju action here. But it's not a good movie. So I'm giving it a 2.5. But what's saving it is all the cool kaijus.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's get some background on this thing.
Okay, so I think it's Godzilla and Kong. I don't know. Like this,
Yeah,
it's Godzilla X Kong, the
well,
new
hey,
Empire.
there's one of my favorite manga and anime is Hunter x Hunter, which is Hunter
Yeah,
x Hunter. But you're
gotcha.
supposed to
Maybe
say
okay. That's why you
Hunter x
did
Hunter.
it.
That's why I did Godzilla
But
Kong.
isn't it like South by Southwest? They use the X right too, or whatever. I, anyway,
Maybe,
but yeah.
yeah.
So I'm saying Godzilla and Kong, the new Empire, or whatever. Release date was March 29th, 2024. Runtime is an hour and 55 minutes, and you felt it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The budget is 135 million, which is interesting because it's like almost like 80,000 less than the last one.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I think they really learned their lessons. Like with we can trim these budgets down
Yeah.
and still get a bigger return. The box office projection is 135 million for the first weekend. So I think it's like 50 million US, 80 million international. So
Sure.
we'll see. I see it. I mean, there's no other competition. There's no big movie coming out right now. So yeah, they definitely could, and I do. I mean, these movies do about around maybe like a 350 to 500 million
Mhm.
total. So nothing crazy, but like that's not terrible.
Yeah, that's not bad. Hey, if someone wants
I
to give
think
me
it's, no,
500
it's
million,
because of the fact that we've had $1 billion movies for the past 10 years. So
fair.
like a movie that costs over 100 million only making half a billion is once again, it's sad to say, but it is kind of on the lower end of your blockbusters.
Fair. So, if anyone you decide you have a spare 500 million around, don't give it to Michael. It's not enough. But I will gladly take it. Thank you. I would take it with a smile on my face. Thank you so much for your
I'm just
generosity.
Black Panther made a bill. That's all. The Rotten Tomatoes, as of right now, once again, it just came out today. So the Rotten Tomatoes is a 55 for critics and a 92 for audiences. So I
Yep.
think it did deliver what audiences liked. So
Mhm.
like you said, I think maybe that's what's more important.
Yep.
The genre is action adventure sci-fi. The director is Adam Wingard, who directed Your Next, The Guest, Blair Witch. I think the later remake, not the project.
Oh, okay. What?
I think that it came in like 2016 or something like that. The more recent one,
Gotcha.
Death Note, which come on, my guy, and then Godzilla versus Kong, the one that came out before this.
Gotcha.
We have the cast: Rebecca Hall as Dr. Eileen. Excuse me, Brian Tyree Henry as Bernie, Dan Stevens as Trapper, Kaylee Hotley as Jaya, Fala Chen as the Iwi. It's Iwi, right, or Iwi?
I
The
think
tribe.
Iwi. I think it was the
Iwi.
tribe. Yeah.
Yeah. The Iwi Queen, Alex Ferns as Michael, and Rachel House as Hampton. I don't know who the fuck Hampton was. And then the tagline is "Bow to your new king."
Who was the new king?
I assume
which one's the new king? I
it says a new empire, so like
don't know.
empires have rulers, I guess.
That's the best. Yeah, and I'm going to say this too. For me, and this it goes beyond even because we are getting to the spoiler section, so this is technically a spoiler. What I'm going to say, but it was a gripe. I never really felt that threatened by the lean monkey guy. Like the not Kong monkey, like Scar.
I disagree. I think
Really?
he did give a bit of it was oh shit, since you just talked about Roadhouse. He
Sure.
gave me what Conor McGregor could have been in
Okay.
Roadhouse. Where it was
Yeah.
just like he's a bit psychotic. I mean, you see how the other apes fear him. There's a
Mhm.
reason for it,
For
right? So
sure.
it was like I think it is when it comes to like a lot of villains, it is like since you don't know what they're going to do next,
Hmm.
that strikes fear type of
Yeah.
thing. So I
And
think that's what it was. It was just like I don't want that man standing too close to me because I
fair.
don't know what'll happen type of thing. So he
Yeah.
did give me that. Outside of, I mean, also shit. I didn't mention this. I should have wrote this down in one of the things that I did. Like I love the creature design in this.
Yes.
Like I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it was a very unique. And it was
Hmm.
one thing I forgot about it until I got to the movie theater. I'm sitting there watching. It was like, yo, these monsters are cool as shit. And now
Yeah.
you realize, oh, this is that universe. But it
Yeah.
was like I did really, so like even his design, the antagonist, I even like he looked menacing and he's scarred up or
Hmm.
whatever. And then even the way he acts like did you ever see Rise of the Planet of the Apes or like the new version of Plenty
I've
of
seen
apes.
a couple of them, but I haven't seen all of them.
Well,
But yeah,
there's a one of the apes called Koba, and it was just
Mhm.
like just the look of him is
Yeah,
menacing without him act. And then he actually acts, like a villain, but it was just like just the visually,
yeah.
he looked like a villain. So I saw that with this guy.
Yeah, well, no, I did like the visual look of him for sure. It was more just like seeing that. I never felt like, because you get some movies where you feel like there's a chance the bad guys might win or something like that. I didn't
Hmm.
really get that from this. Of like, there's a chance, but from a character design, I loved even like the lean look when he had like that lazy, like I'm like leaning back, but like so he was a lankier,
Hmm.
monkey gorilla kaiju, and he had like that lean back with the point of like the knife thing, and I was like, that was a cool look. It was especially compared with
And
Kong,
I
who's
think that's what I was saying when I mentioned the fighting. I loved how they use his physicality.
his
And
frame.
it wasn't just a bang boom shoot him like he's flipping around and all this stuff like that. Like I really appreciated them leaning into his character design.
100%.
But I guess I agree with you too because of the fact that it did seem like he was using that knife or whatever as
Mhm.
his like ace in the hole. So like it wasn't as terrifying
Yeah,
because of the fact that he wasn't doing a lot of the threatening stuff.
exactly. Yeah, and
I can agree with that.
yeah, so yeah, but no, I mean, so cool. All right, so that was our background on everything. Before we get into our spoilers, everybody, quick word from our sponsors. Hey, what's going on? I'm Edward Hunt. I'm on the Milan Badminton team of Compass. We're one of the biggest and best teams in the DMV. That's DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And we're all about helping you with whatever real estate needs you have. So if you want advice on the market, feel free to reach out anytime. But it's more than that. If you need a phenomenal handyman, contractor, HVAC, electrician, etc., please feel free to reach out. I can connect you with some great people. If you need a lender or you're interested in a mortgage, a HELOC, etc., I can connect you there too. Also, a great thing of Compass is we are a nationwide brokerage. So no matter where you are in America, I can find you the right real estate professional. Also, Edward Hunt of Hunt Comics. I have a comic, Evil is a Weapon. Issue 1 is on Global Comics and Amazon right now. Would love for you to check it out. Issue 2, we're hard at work on it. Probably going to have a Kickstarter campaign. I'm calling it May. I just need like 1 or 2 more things to do it, then we can do that. But yeah, cool. All right, let's get into it. Godzilla Kong, New Empire. So, who's the king, who's queen? They're hanging out doing the thing, right?
So we get a bit of a exposition on the current state of the world. So like after Godzilla versus Kong, I think they since they had to work together, there's a mutual respect where Kong is basically the leader of and protector of the Hollow Earth, and Godzilla is the protector of the surface.
Yeah.
Right. And so we see Kong. I think initially he's being chased down by I guess they look like these like wolves or whatever,
Mhm.
but almost like just an interesting creature design. And as he's being chased, he looks like he's like at a dead end, but you see him like setting off traps and stuff like that. So it's like clearly he's leading them to wherever wherever he needs them.
Yeah.
And so there's this one scene like where he's like cornered at a cliff. He can't jump because it's too low or whatever. But then you see he turns around and he's just waiting for them to trip this trap, and they just all kind of fall into it. Well, a few of them fall into it, and then other ones are still attacking him. And like this is just really cool because he like he grabs it, he grabs one of the wolves and just literally just rips him in half over his head.
Yeah.
And then the other wolves are like, "All right, we don't want no smoke. Never mind."
All right, fair. So this whole sequence was cool. I didn't realize how smart Kong was.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew he wasn't dumb, but I didn't realize he was like, I'm setting a billion traps ahead of time
Yeah,
to help you do stuff smart.
it was very Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Home Alone style. Yeah,
He's like, "Are you finished or you're thirsty for more?"
yeah.
But yeah, so like Kong like has a bunch of blood from the the wolf on him, so he goes back home uh to clean off, and then we also see while he's in Hollow Earth, like kind of protecting, excuse me.
Mhm.
There's outposts like a monarch outpost in the Hollow Earth as well, like trying to just tracking him, making sure he's good or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think they mentioned something about him being lonely in like the last giant ape.
Well, yeah, because like I haven't seen I have not seen a lot of the movies in
Mhm.
this franchise of the
Yeah.
Monsterverse. But from what I got from it was he's like there and like protecting of sorts, but also it's because whenever he's up top, Godzilla's like, nah, bruh, you get out of here. We have to fight. So they put him in Hollow Earth as a way to like keep them separate.
Yeah.
But he also is looking for any other, I guess, ape kaiju.
Yeah. So what happened was initially he was on Skull Island by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then he encountered Godzilla and they fought or whatever. Once again, like I said, the deal was he stays in Hollow Earth, Godzilla's up top. But when they were in Hollow Earth in the last one, and he found like that axe that he has, right? And it has like it's like a Godzilla scale or whatever in it.
Okay.
When they found it, it was like in a throne room full of other apes. So it was implied that Godzilla had killed all the other apes, and like he was, and King Kong was the last one.
Oh, so that was in the last movie.
That was in the last one, yeah.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. Well, I get that makes even more sense because we do see that kind of that is what happened, but for a different reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, so we see Kong down on Hollow Earth. They're monitoring him, and then we also see up top that Godzilla's handling any Titans that emerge on the surface, and we see that he's also being tracked by Monarch. And then we get kind of a bit of a backstory with what's her name, Dr. Eileen, kind of giving the audience a quick recap of basically previously on Kong versus.
I appreciated it, man. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, sure, yeah, please tell me.
I like a movie that doesn't assume that I saw the other one. You respect me.
Because I have not. Yeah. You know what my favorite King Kong movie is? Kong, Peter Jackson's King Kong that came out in like 2007.
Ooh, 05.
Yeah, 05. That's what it was. Yeah, and they had the video game from it. That was one of the best video games.
I was leaning. I told you I went with Tina and them or whatever, and I leaned over and Tina said, King Kong, like that King Kong game is my favorite game of all time.
Really?
And, I love God of War, Uncharted, all that. That is my favorite game, and it sucks because I don't own an Xbox, so I can't even get it on like an older system or anything like that. But that was my favorite game. It was so interesting because you got to play in the jungle as Kong, like fighting dinosaurs and shit, and but then also on the ground as the troops. Like it was the most fun game I've ever played.
That was a great game. Yeah, I think it was PS3. I had it for the PS3. I think it was. Or
really? I thought it was like every time I looked at it, I thought it was like only for the Xbox.
I thought I had it for the PS3.
Maybe I didn't look hard enough. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I did have both. At one house I had an Xbox, the other house I had a PS3, so I kind of confused. But I think I played it on the PS3. But I don't remember. Yeah.
But so back to the movie. Anyway, long story short, Kong, Hollow Earth, the Godzilla up top, being tracked by Monarch. I feel like that was another thing, obviously, because the Monarch or whatever has a TV series that came out last year,
which I've heard is really good.
Yeah, but I was like, I didn't do my homework, so I don't know how much some of it fits from the show that fits into this movie.
I'm pretty sure it's all there. It's all intertwined. This is the world and the universe, but yes, it is.
You're not going to marvel me. I'm not doing homework. Like the TV shows, the films, the shorts. I'm not doing it. No.
Yeah, not at all.
But yeah, and then so we get a bit of a glimpse into the human character. So like Dr. Eileen is giving background on tracking the different Titans, and also her dealing with her adopted daughter, Jaya, who was the last of the Iwi tribe that was on Skull Island. And like, so she's having a hard time acclimating to, like, I guess the I don't want to say the real world, but like this, like, I guess it is the real world because she was on an isolated island for her whole life. So she doesn't know how to fit in, and she's like having these visions. So we see her in class.
The world that made me think of like the fucking old reality TV show.
Yeah, that's what I she was like, "You know what happens when people start acting, stop acting funny and start getting real."
Real, yeah.
But yeah, so like she's in class one day, and we see that she's like drawing these three triangles, like just etching, and that she's having like visions, and stuff like that. And the teacher is saying how like they're just trying to connect with her, but they don't know how. Like she's not the only student with an interesting like cultural background, but we're just having a hard time connecting with her. Also because of the fact that she is deaf, so like there is that distance in communication as well. And we do see that her adoptive mother is also having an issue with that. And it was like, that's cute and all, but it was like, I was thinking as I was watching, I was like, if they lean into this teenage angst shit, I swear to God.
They got to. It's for the
I
kids.
swear to God.
Yeah.
But interesting so like one night we do see the outpost in Hollow Earth starts hearing this sound or whatever like this signal that they they don't know where it's coming from. And then we also see at one point there's where Kong had laid a trap for the wolves. There's like I guess the trap collapses, and we see that there's like an uncharted area underneath that.
Well, that's called hollow Earth. All right, so there's hollow Earth, but then there's hollow Earth underneath.
There's sitting so many layers. But so they send the signal to Monarch's like base or whatever, and they notice what is it? They send it to the base. They don't know what it is. They want to get a team down there, but first they go to what's his name? Bernie, who was in Godzilla versus Kong, who's like a conspiracy theorist. I think he was like formerly worked for Monarch, then got fired or something like that. I'm pretty sure. I know he had a experience. I think like his girlfriend or wife died because of Monarch or something like that.
Gotcha.
So like he's been big into like trying to expose them and stuff like that. So he has like a vlog or some shit like that where he's like constantly posting about it, but nobody believes him because like he doesn't have proof from the prior film where he helped save the world.
Well, it's just a classic example. I mean, he has a podcast, but no real expertise on the subject they're talking about. So it's like, it's just another classic example of people with a podcast. It's ridiculous, right? Anybody thinks they can do this,
But yeah, so Eileen goes to visit him because she knows that he thinks he can think outside the box and figure out what this signal is.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also once he's there, she also notices that her daughter was also sketching the same signal.
Yeah.
And it was like, that was what pissed me off, because it was like she brought all that information to him and then like sat it out in front of the table and was like, wait a minute. And I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I got it when I saw it in the class. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
100%. I mean, that's the thing. It's like,
this is the woman with 2 PhDs, you said.
Right? Yeah. You have this whole thing. It's like, you can't just immediately figure stuff out, I guess. But like, you can't say that you're so smart this whole time and then act so stupid other times. It doesn't, mesh.
Yeah. But yeah, so she recruits Bernie to come help her at Monarch, and then while at Monarch, they basically find out that this is a distress signal that has happened several times over the years, usually right before a large kaiju event or whatever. So clearly, and he thinks that it's a distress signal coming from somewhere in Hollow Earth. So they want to take a team down there to go, figure out what it is. And at the same time, we do see like the team that discovered the signal. They haven't been reaching out or answering on the comms, and we see that there was like at the base, like a bunch of the a bunch of the cameras went out, and then it was like over. So like they want to go down there to, 1, check on the distress signal, but then 2, check on that team as well.
Yeah, which they just missed the crap out of this team that they're supposed to be supporting. They're supposed to be supporting this team down there, and they just missed everything of them just getting brutally killed. Like, guys, what are you doing up there on the surface? Help out. That'd be great, please.
But yeah, so they recruit. So first what happens? Sorry,
Kong's got a toothache.
Kong has a toothache.
Yeah.
So he goes up to using one of the portals that they have. He goes up to the surface to get help from Monarch, and then this is where we meet what's his name, Trapper, who I assume was Eileen's brother. Did you get that vibe?
No, that was her ex-boyfriend from college.
Oh, okay.
She dated in college. Yeah.
Okay, I guess I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
because I was waiting for her to say like, Mom says hi or something.
No, that was, I think he mentions earlier, like, there's something, but yeah, no, it was definitely, they were a thing in college for a little bit, and they kind of stuck in contact, but not as much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he comes, he fixes Kong's tooth because he is a veterinarian for Titans, which I mean, okay.
I know, right? Like you got to have a job.
I feel like Jurassic Park has dinosaur doctors, so fine, whatever.
It pays the bills. It's just.
Just really don't want to work with cats, guy. Okay, I get you.
Exactly.
But yeah, so he comes, he fixes Kong's tooth, and they're all worried because of the fact that they know that since Kong's on the surface, Godzilla finds out, he's gonna react and they're gonna fight again. Yeah. Because we do see Kong had a fight somewhere, and then it ended up just once he won, he takes a nap in the Coliseum. Or whatever.
Yeah, Godzilla does. Yeah.
Godzilla does, sorry, yeah. And so since he's still, I think he was on the move, but he wasn't moving towards them.
Well, I think it was like once because Godzilla heard or could also feel the SOS signal, so he knew something was happening. So then Godzilla woke up when the signal started and then started moving, and then Kong came out. So it kind of makes it look like he knew Kong was coming or something. But I think that's
what I thought. But
yeah.
But yeah, so Trapper fixes Kong's tooth, replaces it with like a metal one or something like that. And then they decide that they need to go down to Hollow Earth with Kong to, because he's like resting off because they sedated him. So like he's resting. While he's resting, they decide they need to go down to Hollow Earth to investigate the signal and then check on the team from Post 1 or whatever, like the command post 1. Mm-hmm. And so they go to Hollow Earth.
Again, I want to just touch on this team again. There's like
the team,
so stupid, and like even the military guy, he's literally they set him up so hard in this because the first words out of this man's mouth are, "What? We can't just kill Titans and get money." So you're like, okay, you're clearly the asshole who needs to die. Like you're just like immediately like this. Like
that was a military guy that's like super military guy.
Yeah, like. All right, you have the dickhead who's going to die. But then, yeah, dude, like the fact that, like, we're bringing the veterinarian for some reason. I'm bringing my daughter for some reason.
And she goes, because you might need me with Kong, or me to help you with Kong. And then Kong goes off on his own.
Meanwhile, this is a huge organization with billions of dollars backing it. And they send 5 people into Hollow Earth for this instead of, like, multiple teams. Okay. Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Yeah. Even the mech sent multiple teams. Like, and I was from 3 sharks. What are we doing?
But
yeah, so their team consists of Mike, who's the soldier, the pilot, Trapper, the veterinarian, Dr. Eileen, what's his name, Bernie, and Jaya, because she can communicate with Kong because he knows sign language.
Yes,
and since she's deaf, she knows sign language.
Dr. Eileen also knows sign language.
She learned sign language for Jaya.
Yeah, I was just like from a communication standpoint, if you're just communicating with sign language, Dr. Eileen also could have done that. You're not needed here, Jaya. But they do have some kind of Jaya and Kong do have some kind of like emotional connection as well. Yeah.
And so they go down to Hollow Earth. Jesus Christ. Yeah, they go down to Hollow Earth, and the team splits up. So Kong, first he goes home, and then so he goes home, and they go to the outpost to check on the team. And then when Kong gets home, I think he hears something, and so he goes back to where he had trapped the wolves, and he sees that there's a hole now.
Yeah.
So he jumps down, and now he's in like the subterranean part of Hollow Earth,
which is unexplored. Thankfully, they told us.
Which is unexplored. Yeah.
They told us this across the screen. Yeah.
So like when he gets there, he like there's a what is it? It's mist or a fog or something like that, and he sees the shadow of another ape. And then as it gets clear, he's surprised because once again he thought he was the last one.
Yeah.
And then as it gets closer, it's a much smaller smaller ape or whatever.
Diddy Kong.
Yeah. And then like he goes to reach out to the ape, and the ape is a little bit scared, and then he jumps and just bites him. Yeah. And so like Kong just tosses him away, and then next thing you know, he's getting ambushed by three other giant apes. And this is like this fight scene was great too, because it was just like Kong. I mean, Kong was bigger than all of them. And I think so. One thing I will say about this movie that I didn't enjoy until they got to the surface
Mm-hmm.
was I didn't know the scale of the
Yes.
different monsters. It was very hard to see it in Hollow Earth since
Mm-hmm.
everything was just massive. So it's really hard to understand how giant Kong is, or like any of the other apes, or Godzilla, or anything like
Even the
that.
wolves that he fought in the very beginning, it
Yeah,
was like, how big necessarily are these?
it was.
Because
Yeah,
there
it
were
was very
times,
hard to see until like they were. You got that scale between him and Jaya,
yeah.
or him and like a pyramid or something like that. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, even like I'm going to say, even when Trapper was taking out Kong's tooth, they made
Mhm.
Kong smaller when he was
Yeah.
doing that. Because like
Mhm.
if Kong is as big as the pyramids and Godzilla and all of that later, there's no way Trapper was big enough to have that kind of, you know what I mean? Like Trapper
Yeah.
should have been like this big on Kong. It would have been like this big.
You,
Like
you even saw when like he went to touch Jaya's hand with his finger.
yeah.
Like she was minuscule. So
Mm-hmm. And that's the
honestly, I
problem.
felt like actually, yeah, they had to make him smaller. Otherwise, they wouldn't have got that tooth out.
Exactly. No, 100%. And that's kind of the problem with kaiju movies in general is like they change the
The
size.
scale is the scale is whatever you need it to be versus consistent.
Mhm. Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so he has he gets ambushed by these three other apes, and he's like fighting them off, and then like, oh my god, the funniest shit happened where like the tiny ape jumps in his face, like it's like scratching his face because like that's how small he is. He's like small enough to like just only scratch his face, do damage to his face, and so Kong just like grabs him and starts using him as a bat,
Beating the other big apes with the small ape. That was hysterical. Yeah.
It was so fucking funny, like so cool. And then like one thing I will say was just like there's a point where like one of the apes falls off a cliff and Kong grabs him to save him.
Yeah.
And he pulls him up, and immediately that guy goes to like grab a knife and stab him. He was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Well, that's why you can't help people. All right. You know,
Yeah. So Kong then goes to kick him in the chest off the thing,
which is
and
great.
then like the last ape that's there just runs away,
Mm-hmm.
and then leaving the tiny ape behind. And so like Kong sees the tiny ape, grabs him, and then grabs the knife that the guy tried to use on him. He was like, "Where?" Basically, once again, this is all nonverbal because there are apes.
Yeah.
But he basically asked him, "Where'd you get this from? Where did this come from?" And then the ape was like, "Over there, man." And he was like, "Show me, goddamn."
Yeah.
And so now we get the scene of like what's his name? Sucko, I think is the ape's name.
Oh, okay. Cool.
At least that's what it was on the it says in IMDb. I hope that's correct. Yeah, Sucko.
Okay.
But Sucko just leading Kong to where he lives or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so first, like they stop at a this like vast this like river like near a waterfall or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Sucko like goes in, starts splashing around, and like starts sipping the water. So Kong gets in, starts sipping the water, like rinsing off, and you see Sucko like literally looking around. Yeah. And I was just like, and that's what was crazy to me, right? Is the fact that this is all nonverbal, but you get exactly how conniving this guy is.
Yeah.
I leaned over to Tina at one point and go, if Kong does not stop following Gollum, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah.
So,
really. Yeah.
That's what it was giving me. Lord of the Rings, Frodo with Gollum, not listening to Samwise, jackass. And so he sets it like Sucko sets up Kong where Kong is in the river, and he gets attacked by like this river snake.
Yeah.
And then like so Sucko just runs off because he's like, oh, thank God that guy's gonna die. And then as he's running, you see the axe get thrown, and it trips Sucko, and then like the head of the monster gets thrown next to him, and then you see like Kong just standing behind him with the carcass of the river beast. I thought it was cool. I feel like they did something like that in Kong Skull Island too, where like he fought this like giant squid.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just interesting to see him once again, since they have different titans here and different kaiju. They're really utilizing the different monsters' attributes in these fights. And I thought it was really like obviously like a river monster is gonna like a snake or something like that's gonna wrap you up and try to drag you down into the water.
Mm-hmm.
And so Kong and Sokko continue, their journey. While this is happening, we do jump back to the we jump to the surface where Godzilla is going around attacking different Titans to absorb their power. So no, first he goes to I believe France or something like that.
Yeah, like a nuclear power plant in France.
Into a nuclear power plant.
Yeah,
and they try to stop him. Like they have like certain jets trying to stop him, but they can't. And it's like, this is what bothers me about certain kaiju films.
Mm.
What are the human beings actually going to do?
Good question.
Like, it always, like, it bothers me in Transformers. It bothers me in Godzilla and Kong. Like, Transformers is the funniest shit to me because there's always a bunch of soldiers, shooting at Optimus and his boys, and I'm just like, what do y'all think y'all doing? Like, on some real shit. Walk me through it. It's really? Henchmen, bro. I don't know what. Because literally, human beings versus Transformers are doing the equivalent of balling up a piece of paper and throwing it at you. Like that's what they're doing in these scenarios. But every single Transformers movie got just an endless amount of soldiers acting like they're doing something. It always bothers me. And that's what happened with this one. I'm just like, all right, so y'all know his capabilities. Y'all been doing research for years, and y'all still think y'all have any. Like, to even think y'all controlling them, both Kong and Godzilla, is laughable. Well, I'll allow it. Fine. You need to feel like you have a purpose. Fine. But on some real shit, if shit pop off, if like Homeboy said in Batman versus Superman, if one day Superman were to decide I want to rip off the top of the White House, what could we actually do to stop it?
You can't do shit for that. I appreciated that with this movie too. It's just like in a dark way, but like all the human casualties going from this, like every single time, like Godzilla fighting the other Titan in Rome, millions of like that entire people are dying left and right in that. Godzilla swimming down the river and like the waves just washing away cars, and him just going through a bridge and like tons of cars just going in there. I'm like, a lot of people are dying just from Godzilla walking right now around this, and they didn't hide from doing that, which I
feel like for a minute Hollywood was definitely doing that. Like, you saw that in Batman v Superman, but it was just like, oh, the city's cleared. Yeah, sure. Or even what was it? Avengers Infinity War, when they were fighting in New York, and they said, oh yeah, we cleared New York Street. You did? How? You cleared New York. Get the fuck out of here.
Really? Yeah, no way. I know New Yorkers. They'd tell you to go fuck yourself.
They were trying so hard to add in that. Even in the Fast and the Furious, like the last one, where they basically did the bomb like rolling through like Rome or wherever they were, and even on the actual the news outlet thing right after, they go, and there were no casualties.
I love that with movies where they're like, thank God there were no casualties. How are there no casualties? There's no way there were no casualties.
Once again, just tiptoe me through your logic right quick. Anyway, we're goddamn the tangent, and so. Yeah, we do. On the surface, we see. So while Godzilla is following Sokko to where he lives, King Kong. Sorry, was following Sokko. Godzilla is basically, he goes to a nuclear power plant first, and they know that he's building up for something. Because clearly we know as an audience that he's heard the distress signal, so he's aware that something is coming. So he's powering up just for that moment. So like, he goes to the power plant, then he goes somewhere else to fight.
He goes to the Arctic.
He goes to the Arctic to fight. It was a Tiamat or something like that.
So question. So Godzilla does leave some Titans alone as long as they're not fucking with Ares.
Yeah, I think it is. It's one of those things where, like, as long as they're not a threat, because I think that Tiamat guy was like just chilling. Yeah. If you saw the map, and this was like maybe it's in the Monarch show where they show you how things are actually situated, or like what they actually do. But it was just like, you did see, like, because he was like Monster 19, but it was like that map did show a bunch of monsters across the Earth that he wasn't, actively attacking. The man went to sleep, so it's like, I think as long as they're cool, he'll be cool. But if he senses a threat, that's when he's activated.
So Godzilla doesn't like gorillas, is what we got from all of this.
Oh yeah. He said, "Not my neighborhood."
Yeah. He's like, no. Yeah, he's like, "Has he hunted that man down?" All right, just throwing that out there.
But yeah, so he goes and attacks Tiamat in the Arctic because he's like, I I love how they try to throw the science at you of why, because there's like basically just a bunch of radiation
from
because
the
of
sun
like the proximity to the sun.
and the magnetic poles. Yeah, the magnetic poles in the sun.
Yeah, that's
it. Yeah.
and I was just like, if y'all don't sit y'all active asses down.
Hey, they have at least 2 PhDs. They're very smart. All right.
Yeah, so he attacks Tiamat, and that I feel like I wish I would have seen a bit more of that fight. It was interesting how you didn't see much of Godzilla fighting. You saw more Kong, but I think it is because it's very like it's like John Wick, where like Godzilla fighting is just clash, beam in your face. Yeah,
Yeah.
There's not much
I
to
grab
it.
you, I beam in your mouth, and then
Yeah,
you die, I win. Yeah.
because it was like they mentioned that like Tiamat's skin was like razor sharp, so it's like it's kind of impossible to touch him. So I was like, how is Godzilla going to get past this? So the same way he does everyone else.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, remember, Godzilla has super armor. You know, like it's like he's like that's very sharp. Godzilla has super armor.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he defeats Tiamat and then rests in his resting place to gain radiation. So that's what's happening with him on the surface, or with Godzilla on the surface. The humans, they get to the outpost. They see that it's been destroyed, and all the team is dead or whatever. And then they see this large handprint. This is like that's bloody handprint on the mountain or something, or on the cliff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they say that, oh, that's not Godzilla didn't do that. So who did?
Yeah.
On some real shit. No, because they were still downstairs. Well,
yeah. Well, so that's congratulations, you found a plot hole. So what they meant, they
even like when you saw them get attacked by something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, so who did it?
It was if it wasn't Scar, it was one of Scar's people. You know, it was another one of like the tribe of like.
Okay, I guess because it was like it did make it seem like once again just kind of from a movie telling standpoint, it was just like it made it seem like once that hole opened up, they were released or something something was released. Sorry, but it was just like when you see the movie, it was like that's not the case.
Yep. So
I think it was just like this looks cool. What is it? We talked about this with something else. It was like it looks cool. Put it in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Why though? Shut the fuck up. It looks cool. Put it in.
It looks cool. Don't worry about it because we need to have something. But yeah, when you apply it, because literally Scar, the Monkey King guy, was looking for an exit, but he was trapped down there exactly as you said. So the only way for him to get out was after it opened up. But they also wanted to say, look, he killed other innocent people too, or his tribe killed other innocent people too. But yeah, no, that's a plot hole. They just
gotcha.
Anyway.
So they see that and they get scared. So it's like we need to get out of here. And so they fly away. And I think they do notice the kind of the subterranean part. And so they go land and they just start exploring on foot for some fucking reason. And
very silly. They don't call for backup. They're like, hey, we don't have service and we can't call for backup. I know what we should do. Keep exploring. And I'm like, no.
Science. For science. Yeah. But yeah, so they start exploring and then we get one thing where like Trapper's like, oh, I don't like this. Like something's not right. We need to go the other way. We shouldn't go this way. And Michael, the military guy, goes, all right, fuck you, man. You got your dumbass, the hippie veterinarian guy. We got the crazy conspiracy freak.
Yeah, he says what we're all thinking, for the record.
Yeah. And he was like, you could just see this building up. He's just like going off at him, telling him, he was just like, I'm gonna trust my radar more than like your sixth sense or your intuition. And then as it's building up, he just gets eaten.
Yeah, by a tree. And besides, I'm blanking on Brian.
Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie. Besides him, no one else gives a fuck. Like,
not at all.
Only Bernie cares, and no one else does about this man's dying.
And so they run away.
Brian's the actor's name. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they run away, and like you do get that moment where like he's still freaking out, and like Trapper's just like, I mean, that just happens, man. That's just nature. It's like, what,
bro? Like, get out of here, man. Like, you're ridiculous.
It's these human characters, like you said it before. They're very one dimensional. Yeah. They have their one thing, and that's it.
Yeah,
and it's hard to like lean into that or like relate to it. It was like I don't like that. Anyway. So yeah, what happens? They
They
go
find a
to
tribe basically now
yeah. So they go to like a temple. They find a
Mhm.
temple.
to Mothra.
Um, yeah, for Mothra, right? And it was just like and like what's her name? Jaya hits a button, and it was like it releases some water, which opens a door. Like it fills up something and opens a door.
Hmm.
And like they realize it's like this force field keeping like with this certain energy keeping something in or
Hmm.
whatever, or like just kind of protecting. And so like Jaya opens,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like camouflage. And so like Jaya opens it, and she sees that it's like a pathway into like the subterranean hollow earth.
Hmm.
It's like they'll go in there, they get ambushed by uh some tribes people, and you
Hmm.
find out this is another um sect of the Iwi tribe. So like
Hmm.
there was the sect that Jai is a part of that was from Skull Island, and this is the tribe that's from Hollow Earth. And
Yeah.
so like they go in there, they meet the queen. It was, I mean, there was a bit of funny scenes with them. I will say that. I mean,
Sure.
Bernie was a very annoying character because it was very stereotypical conspiracy theorist who
Hmm.
was right and nobody believes me and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But they did have some funny moments. So it's like they go to the tribe and like they're all nonverbal.
Hmm.
I think they speak telepathically. Was like, all right. Anyway,
Yeah.
and that's what's funny to me. It was like a lot of the shit that happened with Jaya and like her vision. I'm just like, this is a movie with giant kaiju, and that doesn't seem real to me.
That's you lost me, movie. That's where it's gone. No, I won't stand for it.
It was so funny. We were just like, oh, that's so unbelievable. But I'm saying that about a movie about giant
Yeah.
animals.
You can only take so much. All right. It's
I can only take so much. Maybe that's what it is. But anyway, so like it's a funny scene. It was just like that you have to stare them directly in the eye. It's a sign of respect.
Mhm.
And then like you see Bernie, this guy's like standing like inches away from his face, staring directly in his eyes. And I was like, okay, that's
Right.
that's funny. So then Jaya is brought to the queen because and she recognizes her as one of their people, right? And like she touches her hand, and she shows her visions because they can't verbally um, articulate this. And then Jaya also says at one point that this is what was in my visions or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was simultaneously, but it was so fucking funny. But like, so once they realize that Jai is one of them, they're no longer like intruders.
Hmm.
Um, they go to this like cave in the temple, and this is where what's her name, Eileen, is very well versed in this tribe, so she can read the language, and so she starts reading about like about Hollow Earth. And at the same time, while she's reading, we see what's his name, Kong and Sucko have finally made it to the land of basically the land of the apes.
Hmm.
And Kong is surprised because he just sees a bunch of other apes like him, and he thought they were all extinct. And then as he's arriving and walking through them, and you see they're all basically enslaved. They're like passing around stones or whatever and stuff like that. And there's like they're basically surrounded by lava.
For the record, what the fuck were they doing? They were passing like they
I
weren't
don't
running.
get bruh.
Yeah,
I don't.
they had to do some kind of physical labor, I guess. Like I think that's what it was.
I mean, to stay in shape, I guess. But yeah, I do not know.
Yeah.
But as he's walking through, he's seeing all these basically enslaved apes. Eileen is reading the lore of the Hollow Earth, and has basically said that years ago, Mothra protected the Iwi tribe. The apes protected the Hollow Earth, and I think the Titans protected nature or whatever. Yeah. And they lived in balance until one Titan named the Scar King wanted to take over the surface world, and so he and his band of and his army of apes basically attempted to take over the surface world. So Godzilla had to fight them. And so, like I said, I mean, I told you earlier about the Godzilla killing all the other apes, but it's kind of gives you more more perspective on that story.
Yeah, and
So
that's why you have all the skulls and that. So you're like, oh,
mm,
okay, so Godzilla did kill him, but it was because Scar was bad and he attacked
yeah,
Surface World to take over.
and so we see that in order to stop Scar and his army, Godzilla had to trap them all the apes basically in the subterranean part of Hollow Earth in
Mhm.
like a fiery land near like a volcano.
Yeah,
And so um oh, and then it said, "Oh my god, this is fucking it's hieroglyphs on a on a
yeah.
wall." But basically it was saying how Mothra will return,
Mhm.
but it needs an Iwi tribes person from Skull Island. And I
Yeah.
was like, is that really written there?
That's really, yeah. The prophecy is you need the small child. You know, the child saves the day.
Like
That's
that's
what you
what I was
got to
saying.
do.
It was like characters are very much. It was like just plot conveniences and
Mhm. Yeah.
not
It,
necessarily needed in the film.
it took a lot of stuff from other movies because there's a billion movies out there that has the conspiracy. Like hell, Independence Day from the '90s had the
Yeah.
conspiracy theorists who did, or the child chosen one who is needed to like save the day
Hmm.
because whatever. It's like it took all of it and it was like, hey, now fight monsters. And that was basically the movie.
So that's what they find out, and then this is where Kong meets the Scar King. So first, there's like these apes are being, basically oppressed and forced to work, in these labor camps or whatever. And one ape like drops something because it's this large rock, and he gets reprimanded, he gets hit, and Kong goes over, doesn't like this, and he kind of picks him up,
Mhm.
gives him a hand, picks him up, and the guard comes over to try to fight Kong, and Kong just knocks him out.
Yeah. Bop. I'm like, there you go, Kong. What up? Yeah.
And then one of the guy that had attacked Kong
Mhm.
earlier goes and tells the Scar King that he's there or whatever. So then we finally, and this was a really dope introduction
Sure.
where it's
Yeah.
just like he's in the shadows or whatever, and then like you see this like this throne or whatever,
Mhm.
and he kind of just stands up, comes out, looks at him, and like comes over to Kong, stands in front of him, and then like just starts laughing at him,
Because he points
and
at
then
he's like,
yeah.
what?
Oh, he points at his tooth because it's
Yeah.
the one that got prepared by the
Mhm.
trapper, and he just starts laughing. And it was like you see everybody laughing, and this is
Yeah.
what I loved. Like I said, it was like all these scenes in the subterranean Hollow Earth with Kong, no talking, but you get exactly what the fuck is going on. Because
100%.
like as Scar King laughs at him, like the other apes start laughing, but they're laughing out of fear. And
Mhm.
I think, like I said, I think that's what added to this the intensity of this character. I know you said like obviously he's not as strong as you think he is, but it was just like
Mhm.
I can get why they feared him. You
For
know?
sure. No, 100%. I was like, there's no fucking way this man can beat Godzilla. There's no way.
Yeah.
I was just there's not even remotely thinking he could actually win this in the long run,
Yeah.
even with his ice lizard.
Mhm. And so yeah, so then after he laughs at him, you do see like they start fighting, right?
Mhm.
Kong and Scar King. And this was like a really intense fight, and it was really cool because Scar King has this like this whip with
Mhm.
a knife at the end of it, and like that's the weapon he was using. Kong has his axe, and it was just like even with the weapons, Scar King is like very agile. So like he's like whipping around and like really. And like I said, it was just really cool for them to use the design of the monster
Sure.
in the actual fighting as well, right?
Definitely.
I thought it was really cool. It was a really cool fight. And then like I think Kong is like down or no, yeah, no, Kong gets the upper hand on the Scar King or whatever, and
Mhm.
then like one of his guards is like tries to step up. He was like, no, 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 I got this. And then so he pulls out the knife and he points it,
Yeah.
and then they kind of stop the lava flow, and you just see these two eyes glow, and
Mhm.
like out steps what was it? A Shimu? It was a Shimu, right?
Ice lizard.
Yeah, basically an ice lizard. Oh, I was gonna say dragon, but he didn't have wings.
Yeah.
But yeah, this ice lizard, and then like you did find that out. Sorry, you did find that out when Eileen was giving you the hieroglyph story. But like,
Mhm.
uh, what's his name? The Scar King was trying to use Shimu
Mhm.
to take over the surface world,
Yeah.
and like
And it was who caused the last ice age,
yeah,
according to the
exactly.
legend. Yeah.
And so Shimu comes out, and you see that it's being controlled by the knife, which is basically like this crystal
Mhm.
um, that the Scar King has at the end of his like whip.
Mhm.
And so like every time he like points it at him, you see that it glows. the scales on the back of Shimu glows, and you see that he's in pain. And
Yeah.
initially, he doesn't want to do it. Now, like I said, I see now what you're saying about like him not being as threatening because he's literally just coercing or this stronger thing to do his bidding. And so like Shimu is forced to like blast Kong with his ice breath or whatever, and we see him try to stop it with his axe, but it was just like it's just too much ice, and you see like the axe gets blown away. Kong's right hand gets a frostbite, like a bunch of frostbite, and then as he's about to get blasted again, and basically about to be defeated, we see Sucko like point him to an exit.
Yeah.
And then we see that Sucko kind of has a change of heart. So it was a nice scenes during their journey where like after he killed the river monster, he offered like Sucko food, and initially Sucko's like I don't want it. And then like Kong did the older brother thing where he was just like fine and take it, bitch, like just throws it at him.
Yeah.
And you do see them bonding a bit, and then actually right before what's his name, the Scar King confronts Kong, he kills Sucko's father. Like he kicks him into kicks him into the lava. So you see Sucko kind of being turned away from fearing the Scar King and wanting to help Kong.
Yeah. Was that his father or his friend? I wasn't really sure. It could be.
I assumed it was father. It looked like an older guy.
I wasn't sure. Yeah, it was either father or just like older. He was in the gang either way.
Yeah, because it was like when they walked in, you saw Sucko like notice him, and then like they kind of did like a sign to one another.
Yeah, that they were like. Hey.
Once again, I just assumed it was father, but like since it was all nonverbal, it is very much
for sure.
I won't know.
Yeah.
But so Sucko shows Kong an exit. Kong is able to escape. And it was interesting because he escapes with some traps again. So it's like how far did he run?
He must have run out of the.
It was a little confusing to see.
Yes,
the landscape of Hollow Earth, because he has all these traps, but he wasn't able to find them. It was weird.
Yeah, because basically what that means, if he had traps set up ahead of time, it looked like that he would have run to where he had set up traps, which was outside of the subterranean realm to do that. So then he went from from outside of the subterranean realm back into the subterranean realm to then help out the humans again. Again, plot hole. Don't think too hard. You're gonna hurt yourself.
So he's able to escape with these traps or whatever. And then he and Sucko go to where the Iwi tribe is because he can sense Jaya or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, like, yep, for sure.
And so this is where we see like right before Kong gets there, Jaya's kind of playing with the other tribes people because once again she was the last of her tribe, and now she's met her people again. She didn't feel like she belonged on the surface, and she's found her tribe. So we see Eileen, saying that she has come with the terms of like if Jaya wanted to stay in Hollow Earth to be with her people, she would let her. Like it would suck as her mother, but like she would let her. And then what happens? Yeah, so Kong finds them. They see that he's really hurt. We can run past a lot of
the bionic arm, the super.
Yeah, so like they mentioned that the frostbite is really bad, but there was an altercation that they were working that they were working on to make Kong a bit stronger. Yeah. But the project was shut down because like the government was like, we're not making Titans stronger. But luckily they had it shipped to Hollow Earth, right near them or whatever. And so like Kong gets this power glove basically,
which completely heals him immediately because
which had frostbite serum, I guess.
It had 3 vials of green liquid, and that's basically super nano machines, which just heal him completely. So he's fine now. It's all good. Yeah.
And so like once he's healed, we do see that what's his name? The Scar King is en route to basically find, like, I guess he realizes that the hole is opened up for him to escape.
Like, one of the monkeys that are gorilla kaiju whatever that Kong trapped lived saw that him and Suko or whatever made it to the Iwi people and then went back to report. So they're coming back out. Yeah.
And so now Scar King and his army are and Simu
Mhm.
the lizard are on their way to basically escape their prison.
Mhm.
And so Kong realizes this. He's healthy now,
Yeah.
and so Jaya tells him that he needs help
Yeah.
or whatever. And so he uses one of the portals. So like basically, the Iwi people were protecting the different portals from Hollow Earth to the surface,
Mhm.
and so like he uses one of them to go to the surface to basically draw out Kong. Now, so initially I thought, draw out Godzilla.
Yeah.
So initially I thought they were cool, but
Mhm. No, it was on site. It was on site.
and so like Kong goes to Cairo, Egypt. Godzilla comes over and like they scream at one another and they just start fighting. And like this fight was really cool. But what was funny is like every place they went, as a joke, I was like, I kept scratching off as a place that I can't go anymore because they destroyed it.
Now the pyramids are gone. The Colosseum's
Every
gone.
single time they went to the surface, I was like, well, can't go there now.
Yeah, all the cool pyramids are no longer there. Yeah.
And so it is a very like cool WWE fight in Egypt where it was like, we're not leaving until we destroy all of the pyramids.
Yes,
that is a fact.
If I fight in Egypt, that's what I'm going to do. I'll have to. Yeah.
And so like as they're fighting, we do see that Kong is a little bit more equipped to handle him now because he has a power glove.
Mm-hmm.
As they're fighting down in the Hollow Earth, we see what's his name? Scargiver and his army arriving in the Iwi tribe. We also see them do a ceremony because of the fact that since fucking Jaya is the chosen one, she's the one that able to awaken Mothra.
Yeah.
Which was a surprise. I feel like for a lot of people didn't expect to see Mothra. I know that she's like a classic Godzilla ally.
Yeah.
And so like Mothra gets resurrected and then goes up to the surface or whatever. And then as Mothra goes up to the surface, we see that Kong has defeated Godzilla, basically just knocked him the fuck out, and then just starts dragging him to the That's what was so funny. I was like, it was interesting because, like I said, I thought they were cool enough for him to be like, "Yo, can you help me out?"
Yeah,
but it was like, no.
Kong was like, "Whoa, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you." But but he knocks him, starts dragging. But then Godzilla pops up, and Godzilla's about to blast him.
And then Mothra comes and is just like, "Look, everybody, be cool.
Yeah,
we need your help down in Hollow Earth." So, like, as Scar King and his army arrive to go to the portals to get to the escape to the surface, we see what's his name, Kong, Mothra, and Godzilla show up. And it was like also the humans, they were doing something like with the gravity to try to stall. They were doing something with the gravity to try to stall what's his name, the Scar King. And so this is where we get the first fight between so it's Kong versus Scar and Godzilla versus Shimu or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. Like this I mean, obviously I think you saw it in the trailer where it was like they're just running with each other, like back to back. So it was like a really cool fight, and it was cool to see like them using gravity against them and then like for them.
Yeah.
You see the humans are still there just being liabilities.
Yep, for sure. As one is.
Need to be saved by Mothra, but like after the what's his name? After the gravity goes out, at least what's his name? Kong tries to stop Scar from getting through the portal, but he gets through. Shimu gets through. Kong and Godzilla get through, so they make it to the surface. And I thought that was weird because I thought it would have been more interesting for them to like just not make it to the surface and actually be successful to keep them down there. But whatever, you got to destroy Rio apparently.
Poor Rio.
They need more casualties, and so the four of them arrive on the surface in Rio on a beach, and immediately Shimu starts blasting it to basically recreate the second ice age. And now it's up to Kong and what's his name? Kong and Godzilla to stop them. And it was so the fight was cool, right? But it was like they were destroying the city, and it was clear that people were on the ground.
Wait, there's so many. You could
on the ground in the building. Like
yeah.
Rio won't be the same for a smooth, like what, 20, 30 years? Like,
Yeah, no, not at all. It's just going to be completely crippled for like a long time.
but it was just like, yeah, you get them, and I see what you're saying because it's like every time, like basically, what's his name, Scar King couldn't really handle Godzilla. I'm sorry, King Kong, so he kept using the crystal to get Shimu to attack
Yeah.
Godzilla, and eventually they realize that that's the thing stopping them, and so, but sadly, what's his name, Kong had left the axe in Hollow Earth, and so Shimu, sorry, not Shimu, Suko realizes this and grabs it and heads up to the surface, and so Kong is able to, no, Godzilla actually is able to break the whip with the crystal on it, and then now Scar King really scrambling, realizing like if I don't have this, then I don't have anything, or whatever. And so like he gets it, but they're able to knock it out of his hand. And then as they're both crawling towards it, Scar King and Kong, what's the name? Suko comes out and just destroys the crystal with the axe, and this kind of releases Shimu from under his control. And so like he looks at Shimu looks at Godzilla, and he's just like, blast him, dummy. Like he just gives it a look. And so like while Kong is holding the Scar King, Shimu blasts him with his ice powers and just freezes him. And then as Kong is holding him, he sees that his eye is still moving, he's still alive, and then he just goes and just smashes his body. It was so cool. Like I will say, like all of the kaiju fighting was really, really cool. Really, really well done. The CGI was great. But yeah, so to wrap it up, what's his name? Scar King is defeated. Mothra goes back down and basically patches all of the holes in the portals. What's his name? Godzilla goes back to sleep in the Coliseum.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Jaya tells her mom that she doesn't want to stay in the She doesn't want to stay in Hollow Earth. She wants to stay with her, and that's a relief to Eileen, as if we care. Humans are able to make it back to the surface as well, and then we see that Kong goes back to the other apes with Suko and Shimu to basically tell them that the Scar King is dead, and now I'm their new king, and basically you're free.
For the record, Shimu would really want to kill every ape kaiju after all it's had to deal with for the past like millennia or whatever. Like it would really want to kill every single ape kaiju, hands down, 100%.
I don't know. I think it really realized that it was the Scar King that was in control of the crystal.
Maybe I am dumbing down the Titans too much because like, I kind of attribute them to more like just smart animals, but not like higher level thinking. But that's fair. They could realize Shimu couldn't be okay.
And so now Kong is the new ruler of of Hollow Earth, I guess, or whatever. Yeah,
of the apes.
And that's why it's about to your new king.
Yeah, King Kong.
Yeah. End of the movie.
And that is the end of Godzilla Kong, the New Empire. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We always like to revisit our original rankings at the end. So, Mike, you gave this a 2 out of 5 originally. Are you going to keep it, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm keeping it.
Okay.
I feel like it. Even though there was a lot of kaiju fighting, which I really enjoyed, the human characters really brought this down.
Sure.
Like brought it down like it's substantially. Like it's like I said, it is cool that they are realizing it. Like the writers and the directors, and the cast is a lot less than previous films. But it was just like with how hollow they were, no pun intended. How contrived. It was just like no, they really brought this movie down. But I really did have fun with Kong. I loved his backstory, his journey. It was interesting that fucking a giant monster could go to a journey and you actually see it without him verbalizing anything. So I did enjoy that, but I don't know. I'm sticking with the 2. I don't want to really support movies like this, especially when Godzilla -1 exists.
Fair, yeah, you have a good point. Cool. I'm going to stick with a 2.5 as well. I'm going to stick with the 2.5 because for me, the dumb kaiju, like in a good way, the dumb kaiju fighting and like from an entertainment perspective was great. But I do completely agree. The humans brought it down. So yeah, so I'm even gonna, I'm gonna rescind that comment. Not the dumb kaiju fighting, but like the simpler part of this movie of
Yeah.
big cool monsters fighting it out with CGI. Hell yeah, I'm for that all day. Everything with the humans was like cool, especially at the end with all of that. I'm like, okay, man, keep this going. Humans, you're not doing anything, whatever. But yeah, so 2.5 from me. Again, thank you so much for listening, everybody. We are the Meddling Kids, and I would say if you want to see big dumb monsters fight, check out this movie.
Yep.
Yeah,
Agreed.
okay. So it's not a bad movie to see in theaters. Just know what you're walking into. But yeah, if you'd like to reach out to us, you can find us at 2meddlingkids on all our social medias, so Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Mike, how can they reach out to you?
On Instagram at Days from Legendary.
And if you'd like to reach out to me, I am at EdHunt77 on Twitter and Instagram, and Hunt.comics on TikTok and Instagram for all comic stuff. But we'll be back next week with a brand new movie. See you soon.
Bye.